from the moment she was born. From the moment I was pregnant with her, I have had this giant burden of I'm the only one that cares for her. That's kind of been a recurring theme, is like, wow, if I don't figure this out, who will?
I'm pregnant.
Oh God.
It could happen to any one of us.
It could have been any of us.
Lots of girls get pregnant in high school. Not like everybody else in high school.
I became a mom a little over 3 years ago at 17 years old.
I became a teen mom at the age of 14.
I was 16 when I became a dad.
So I was 18. It was actually right out of high school.
At first it was very hard, but I promised that I was going to be there for her.
The most annoying stereotype about being a teen mom was definitely that I'm not going to make it and that my daughter's life will be less than because I'm so young.
When I tell people in my class, oh, I have a child, they're like, oh, like, they assume that I don't know as much as them because I guess I made the decision to have a child young.
A lot of people assume because you have a child, your life is completely over, but they're wrong. Hi, my name is Joanna. I am a mother to Esmeralda Platero. She's 2 years old.
I'm Allie. I'm a single mom of a little girl.
So my name's Zenon, and I'm father to a beautiful little girl named Gwendolyn.
Hi, my name's Brandon. I have a 2-year-old son named Isaiah. I'm currently working like 3 jobs, and I just graduated high school.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
you.
Please walk forward if you agree with the statement. I wish I had children later.
You know, I feel like this question's really hard because right off the bat, people are gonna assume, oh, like you don't love your daughter or something. But like I do. I love my child with all my heart and everything I have to give. I'll do anything for her. But if I had the option, she'll be the exact same everything, but have her later, I would definitely choose to have her later. I mean, it just to get everything situated, to just set everything up to provide that for her. I would definitely recommend. Do it later, do it when we're not children, when we're older and have more insight.
I agree with you there. It's like from a logistical standpoint, it makes a lot more sense to have money in the bank and to have support and to have a celebrated pregnancy and to have a partner and a house, all these things that you typically would. Although in the same token, we're so happy, we're so in love, we've learned so much, and being a parent is so much of who we are.
Me looking back, I'm happy. I'm really extremely happy that I decided to have my child. I was extremely comfortable with keeping my child because I knew that not only would she heal me, but I would be able to give her love that I was just eagerly willing to give to somebody, but of course deserving.
It helps you mentally. It just makes you comfortable and it just makes you happy. Just knowing that you're raising this kid, and you feel proud of yourself.
Yes, I wouldn't change something, but in that moment, when we're a young teenager about to go off to college, like we just got out of high school, our life is just beginning. I didn't have that hindsight. I didn't have that. Oh, it'll work out. It's scary, financially, socially, every way. And if I was in that spot, I think I would say yes. I would definitely want to have it later in life. And I mean, but yeah, hindsight.
I carry more of the burden of supporting my child than my partner.
I'm sorry. That's all I want to say. I'm sorry that you're here.
Yeah, it's okay. She doesn't work right now, but she does help in a different way by taking care of him, right? But it's mostly me making the money, and it's mostly her taking care of our child.
It's a hard thing to feel like the whole financial burden is on you because it just innates something in you, and you're like, oh my gosh, if I don't bring money home for my child, what's gonna happen? And that's scary.
When COVID hit, actually, I've been laid off like twice. So there was a point in my life where I wasn't making no money. It was difficult finding a job that time, and I felt very unappreciated.
I kind of have the stereotypical story of being young and pregnant and her dad wanting to kind of live his life, and his family really supported him wanting to live his life, and I felt so much guilt and shame for wishing that he wanted to be around more when she was younger. He's grown into it a lot, which is really great, and I'm so thankful for that. But from the moment she was born, from the moment I was pregnant with her, I have had this giant burden of I'm the only one that cares for her. That's kind of been a recurring theme, is like, wow, if I don't figure this out, who will? And it's a scary feeling, but it's also the most beautiful thing because we've become just this symbiotic relationship between me and her, and I just know her so well. I know everything about her, and I'm happy.
It's just crazy how fast we matured.
Yeah.
And you look at our, friends that we have, and they're a little bit more immature.
To selflessly serve someone will bring out wisdom in anyone because you're putting yourself last.
I was really in between disagreeing and agreeing. From the beginning of, the pregnancy to now, majority of that whole time frame, I was the one putting like 80% of, responsibility. I was buying everything. I didn't ask him for anything. It felt like I was a single parent. He would spend time with our daughter, but that's simply just not enough, I got an offer for modeling in January, and so I had to leave my state, and I had to leave my daughter behind with my family and her father, which is the hardest thing I ever had to do. The responsibility of my daughter is now like basically equal.
We still live in different households. We're still separate at the moment until we're saving up for we can get a place together. I see her every day, everything. We're together all the time. When I have to leave at night, and she doesn't get that opportunity to leave. If she gets up at night, she has to be with her. So I feel like that burden, definitely, she has more responsibility in that aspect. And then she is with her more often because I do have a lot more responsibilities with school and working, but she's also doing school and work. So it's all over. It's a roller coaster ride sometimes.
I wanted to ask, you being a teen father, I feel like people automatically assume that you put in less work. So when you tell people you are a teen parent, do they assume, or how does that go?
Usually when people ask me if I'm a teen parent, it's usually when I'm with my son. So I'm like, oh, are you, is this your brother? No, it's my kid. And they, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Babysitter?
So, babysitter, right?
Oh, do you have availability? Literally, that's the worst one.
I'm like, no, this is my kid. This is me.
For me, it just depends on the context. And I'm not there. They ask my fiance, oh, he's a father not in the relationship. I think it's just a stereotype now that the dad usually leaves, and a lot of responsibility falls on the mother.
My mental health was heavily impacted since becoming a parent.
Oh.
I'm just trying to think of how to articulate this, because it's a wide range of emotions. I feel like it's not only being scared. You got anxiety from, I have to support my child. Am I doing this right, doing this? And it definitely keeps you up at night. And I was never a good sleeper, as is. It really did take its toll, whether it be like my social, how I interacted with like my girlfriend. I'd get kind of more irritable, I guess, but until I found that balance.
I come from a divorced family, so I feel like there was different groups of people that I needed to tell. And the first 2 people that we told, it was a really horrible reaction. It was slamming on the table, it was tears, I was in tears. I just wanted to disappear. I just wanted to not exist. They were talking about every option besides keeping her. And it was very sneaky and deceptive and under the table, like, hey, we can do something behind the scenes.
I went through the same thing.
Yeah, as a woman, as a girl too, like a pregnant girl, you're just your whole brain chemistry changes when you're pregnant. You're on protect mode, you're on try to make everyone happy mode, and it's really weird. I think loneliness is one of the most scary, detrimental things that people can go through for their mental health. It just can be so painful. And when you're a young parent, it just feels like no one could understand what you're going through. You need people. It takes a village to raise children is such a great quote, and it's so true. I wanted so badly to be able to do it on my own and prove everyone wrong. And it was that moment I surrendered that pride, and I'm like, no, it takes people to pour in to me and to her and to love on her and help me do this. Asking for help can be one of the strongest things you can do.
I've basically been like a sad person since I was a little girl. About like the age of 9, I started, having depression and being suicidal. In middle school, I actually was admitted into a mental hospital because I tried to like commit suicide. And that was literally right before my freshman year, before I got pregnant. And my mindset was, I was still depressed, you know. My household and the people who were in my life were very, very extremely toxic and abusive. So when I felt pregnant, it was like, I call her my lifesaver. I truly do, because like I don't know where I would be. I don't even think I would be on this earth if I didn't fall pregnant. Like I literally fell pregnant at 14. I had to go to school with my baby father. At that time, he was not claiming the child. So I literally saw him in the hallways every day, you know, with my big belly, you know. I would be crying like every single night. So I didn't really have anybody's support, but.
So you want to give the child the happiness that you didn't have when you were there.
Exactly. But every time I looked down at my stomach, I was just like, you know, I'll do this for you. And I know that you're gonna give me the love that I wished I was raised with, you know. And I will give you the love because you deserve it. And that's what really took me off, and I started just becoming the woman that I'm supposed to be for my daughter and for myself, you know, so.
I respect that.
Whew, I did it.
I also grew up in a bad childhood. You know, my parents were also teen parents. So they were on and off for like 10 years, and my dad will get very domestic with my mother, and I had to, you know, go through that, I had to watch that, and I had to see my mom's pain. So I was also very depressed. I was, you know, I was also suicidal when, you know, I found out that she was pregnant, and I was, you know, to be honest, I was embarrassed. You know, like I would get, where I live, you know, I would get clowned on, you know, hey, you know, you got that girl pregnant, but I decided not to look at it as a negative thing, but more of a positive thing. Okay, well, I have a motivation that all these people don't have. With the situation I had with my ex, with the mother of my child, with my baby mama, you know, I noticed that there was those red flags I saw from my childhood that I don't want for my son. I don't want him to see that. And my goal is to break the cycle. I don't want my kid being a teen parent, so I'm gonna make sure he's taught well, because I never had a father figure that taught me about sex, about using condoms. I think we can all agree that it's very hard to tell our parents that we're pregnant or we got a girl pregnant. For me, when I told my mom, you know, me knowing that she was also a teen mom, oh man, she went crazy. She started throwing stuff, plates, pots, everything. Started dodging it like the Matrix. I was like,
I got very lucky at the time that I told her. Like, I think because she was a teen parent also, she had me very young, and she had sacrificed a lot of her life to make sure that I had the opportunity she didn't have. I found it was just like a slap in the face to her. I felt like that was gonna be the hardest person to tell, because you had worked all your adult life to prevent this from happening, to make sure I get a good education, don't repeat the cycle, for me just to go back and repeat the cycle. She just wanted to provide me with that network so it wasn't as hard, you know, so I can finish what I was doing and provide for my daughter and just have access to these opportunities still. So I'm definitely very grateful.
There are goals I've had to sacrifice since becoming a parent.
Well, since I had my daughter right out of high school, I don't have the opportunity to pursue like a legal education maybe I wanted to have done, because I've gotten, you know, offers from schools out of state, like, oh, we can give you scholarships, but obviously I'm not going to take them because my family's here and this is where we're rooted.
When I found out I was going to become a father, I didn't really have any goals. I didn't know what I was going to do, what I was going to pursue as a career. Military was an option. I was looking into becoming enlisted in the Air Force, but in order to do that, I had to give up all my custody to the grandmother, since my baby mom is a minor. She's 17 right now. So it kind of got me stuck, because that was my goal, to join the military.
Educationally, I was always striving. Like, I was always on the honors roll. And so when I got to high school, I got the opportunity to graduate early, even having my child, you know. But because at that time I was into just being with my child 24/7, I didn't trust anybody around my child. Like, me going away to college, especially in another state, no, like I couldn't do that. I had to sacrifice that, but it was not much of a sacrifice to me. It was more of a sacrifice to my family. That's the way they saw it, you know. After you have a child, your mentality changes and you really start caring about what makes you happy and what makes a child happy.
All of my goals and dreams changed when I had her. So it wasn't like I was sacrificing anyway. I didn't feel like I was throwing opportunities in the trash. So when I had my daughter, it was this complete shift. As soon as I got pregnant, that wow, it was a come to Jesus moment. Your life is not about you anymore, quite literally. There's two of you now. And it was such a humbling spiritual experience. Once I just felt that love and knew I would do anything for her, and you see this hope in their little eyes, and they're like a blank piece of paper just ready to have a story rewritten, a beautiful story, and you get to be a part of it. And it's just so cool. It's not even like you're in control. As a parent, you realize how little control you have and how you're just kind of along for the ride.
So being a teen parent is not bad. It's actually a benefit. It's actually a benefit. You know?
I would still, I don't know if I'd recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you can,
don't get pregnant.
I would not recommend it.
It was nice meeting you guys.
I don't know what you guys
I'd
want to do.
hug you.
Yeah, I'll do the little elbow.
We did great, y'all. We did awesome.